Shalom, shalom, Israel. Most High in Christ bless you. Sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulties, but we up and running now. Remember, I got a old computer. Got to update it. So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? First off, can you hear me? Type Y if you can hear me. Type N if you cannot hear me. Y'all, everybody should be able to hear me. Everybody should be able to hear me. Okay, all praises, all praises, all praises. So, as you know, we got two special high holy days coming up in the next 2 days. We got destruction of Nicanor or Nicanor, however you want to say it. It's Nicanor. I think it's Nicanor. I gotta go and check, but we got destruction of Nicanor, and we have also Purim. Oh, shout out to my reader, man. My reader, he been away from me for 2 weeks.
Shalom.
So does Zebediah. All praises Most High for that, brother. Yeah. So we have destruction of Nicanor, and we have Purim. All right. But tonight, we're going to deal with the destruction of Nicanor tonight. We're going to deal with the destruction of Nicanor. I know some of y'all that's on now, y'all may be new. Y'all may not know what took place or why we celebrating the destruction of Nicanor. As you know, the destruction of Nicanor is not a high holy day that the Most High ordained originally in Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23 is where you can find all the high holy days, okay, that's in the laws. But there's other high holy days that we have that's not in Leviticus chapter 23. For example, Feast of Dedication. Feast of Dedication is not in Leviticus chapter 23, but it was ordained during the Greek time period by the Maccabees. Okay, and also we know in New Testament Christ also celebrated it. All right, so it is a feast. All right, so just like with destruction of Nicanor and with Purim. All right. So we're gonna get into it. The history of destruction of Nicanor. We're gonna start at 2 Maccabees chapter 14. Do we have a scribe? 2 Maccabees chapter. We're gonna do some reading tonight. So 2 Maccabees chapter 14. No volume. My man, check your phone. All right, let's get it. He good? Nah, that's somebody saying they probably can hear. He said no volume. Hey, turn your volume up.
It's the same person.
It is? Where?
Yeah. See? Boom, boom.
Oh, all right. All right, let's get started. 2 Maccabees chapter 14, verse 1. So like I said, we're going to do some reading. All right? Let's get
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 1. After 3 years was Judas informed that Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, having entered by the haven of Triopolis with a great power and navy, had taken the country and killed Antiochus and Lysias his protector. Now one alchemist who had...
So, verse 2, Antiochus. It's not Antiochus, it's Antiochus. Okay, it is pronounced Antiochus. Go ahead, read that again.
Verse 2, had taken the country and killed Antiochus and Lysias his protector.
So now Demetrius has rose up now. Okay, he's the son of Seleucus. He come out of the Seleucid dynasty. Go ahead.
Now one alchemist who had been high priest...
Alchemist is a nigga.
Right.
I'm gonna just say it straight. That's what he is. He's a nigga.
Right.
All right. A brother that hated his own people. Go ahead.
And had defiled himself willfully in the times of their mingling with the Gentiles.
Stop. So this Negro right here, named Alchemist, who had been high priest and had defiled himself willfully in the times of their mingling with the Gentiles. right? Why? Because this time period right here, we've been mingling with the Gentiles. All right, give me let's get that. First Ezra 8:73. The Gentiles. Who were the Gentiles? The Gentiles. First Ezra 8:73. Let's see. Is that what I want? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Second, might be second.
I hope that's what I want, man. I ain't got you here for no reason, man.
Is it 8 and 73?
Yeah. Second, it's second Ezra.
Right.
No?
The Gentiles, all right.
One second, Israel. 1 second. I'm trying to find. It's got to be first Ezra. 8:63. Is it?
You gotta get it. Make that sound better.
Yo, it's one of them, man. It's in here. Nope. 8:69. 8:69. First Ezra chapter 8 verse 69.
The book of First Ezra chapter 8 and verse 69. Now the nation of Israel, the princes, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollutions of the Gentiles.
Nor the pollutions of the Gentiles. Go ahead.
To wit, of the Canaanites.
So the Canaanites are Gentiles. Hamites.
Hittites.
More Hamites.
Pharisees.
More Hamites.
Jebusites.
More Hamites again.
And the Moabites.
The so-called Chinese are the Gentiles. Go ahead.
Egyptians.
Egyptians are the Gentiles. Go ahead.
And Edomites.
And Edomites are the Gentiles. Which dominion we was under during the Greek time period. We was under Esau. Because why? Alexander had came into power. He started taking over the dark nations, and they started ruling from that point on. And remember, it said evils were multiplied in the earth during the time of their rulership. All right. So we have the Canaanites, Hittites, Pharisees, Jebusites, and the Moabites. Okay, Egyptians and the Edomites, which is Esau, who we are under during the Greek time period, under the Maccabees. All right, let's go back.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 3. Now one Alcimus, who had been high priest and had defiled himself willfully in the times of their mingling with the Gentiles, seeing that by no means he could have himself nor have any more access to the holy altar, came to King Demetrius in the 150th year, presenting unto him a crown of gold, and a palm, and also of the boughs which were used solemnly in the temple, and so that day he held his peace.
So, read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. Came to King Demetrius in the 150th year, presenting unto him a crown of gold, and a palm, and also of the bowls which were used solemnly in the temple. And so that day he held his peace.
Right, go ahead.
Howbeit, having gotten opportunity to further his enterprise.
Foolish enterprise. So he's trying to get the priesthood underhandedly. He's trying to get the priesthood underhandedly. All right, go ahead. So now what he do? He goes to the enemy to underhandedly get the priesthood. Go ahead.
And being called into council by Demetrius, and asked how the Jews stood affected.
Well, I'm sorry, because verse 3, he was the high priest, but he was doing some other wickedness behind closed door underhandedly. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Those of the Jews that be called Assyrians.
So the Assyrians were men devoted to the law. The Assyrians were men devoted to the law. 1 second, let me see if I can find that scripture of the Assyrians, chapter 2. First Maccabees chapter 2. Yes, First Maccabees chapter 2, verse, you start at 41, about the Assyrians.
The book of First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 41.
Read.
At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him.
Read.
Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians.
So here we go again. This is the company of the Assyrians. Go ahead.
Who were mighty men of Israel.
They were what?
Mighty men of Israel.
Read.
Even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law.
So the Assyrians were voluntarily devoted to the law. Guess who comes out of the Assyrians? The Pharisees. The Pharisees come from the Assyrians. Men voluntarily devoted to the law. Okay? The Pharisees come from the Assyrians. All right? Let's go back.
The book of 2 Maccabees chapter 14 and verse 5. No,
Read.
verse 6.
Read.
Those of the Jews that be called Assyrians.
So remember, the Assyrians were mighty men of Israel. Okay? They were voluntarily devoted to the law. Remember, the Pharisees that you hear about in the New Testament, they come from the Assyrians. They derive from the Assyrians of that sect. All right, go ahead.
Whose captain is Judas Maccabeus, nourished war, and are seditious, and will not let the realm be in peace.
So it says, those are the Jews that be called Assyrians, whose captain is Judas Maccabeus, nourish war, and are seditious, and will not let the realm be in peace. So this nigga, Alcimus, goes to the enemy. Excuse me. He goes to the enemy to pretty much tell on us. He goes to the enemy to tell on us. He's an informant. He becomes an informant to let them know about us being seditious, seditious means you go against the government. That's what sedition is. Okay, treason. All right, so he goes underhandedly because of the enterprise that he's trying to get on the king's side. Okay, he's trying to join with the enemy. Give me that in First Maccabees 1. I'm telling you, you always had the wicked amongst our people, man. To this day, you see it. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11.
The book of First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11.
Read.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Wicked men. Go ahead.
Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
This is what Alchemist is doing right now. He's going to make a covenant with the heathen. He's going to make a covenant with the enemy. And to go and sell out his own people.
Right.
That's hatred against his people. He hated his people.
Right.
Go ahead, read it again.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Read.
So this device pleased them well.
So this device that Alcimus is doing, it's pleasing him.
Right.
He like, look, I'm about to sell these dudes out. I hate them. I'm gonna sell them out. All right, I'm gonna get the king. I'm gonna get the king on my side. I'm gonna be his puppet. Okay, and then I'm gonna get whatever I want.
Right.
I'm gonna get whatever I want. That's his plan. Give me Isaiah 28 and 15. You got the same thing going on today. You got Negroes that was sell out their own people just to get some type of gain from the enemy. Isaiah 28:15. Read.
The book of Isaiah chapter 28 verse 15. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
That's what happened. He's making a covenant with death. Go ahead.
And with hell are we at agreement. When the flowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
So that's what our people do today. We hid ourselves under lies and refuge. No, we make lies our refuge. And we hid ourselves under falsehood, under these wicked doctrines. Okay? Read that again. Read 15 again.
Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement.
We comfortable in captivity. There's nothing going to happen to us in captivity. I'm living comfortable. I'm rich. I got what I need. White man supporting. White man is nourishing me. Okay? He feeding me.
Right.
He gave me a job. All right? I'm good in this captivity. Go ahead.
When the overflowing scourge
when destruction come, go ahead,
shall pass through, it shall not come unto us.
You see, so when destruction gonna happen, it's not gonna happen to us. Why? Because we made a covenant with death. They're gonna protect me. Right. They're gonna protect us. We good. Right. The spaceship that Elon Musk is making to go to Mars. Right. Our people think they're gonna be able to get on that spaceship. Our people made a covenant to think they're gonna get on that spaceship and head to Mars along with the enemy. All right. It says, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, when destruction comes, it shall not come unto us. He building the ship for all. He building the ship for us too. I'm part of the rich. What they call it, the black bourgeoisie. Right. I'm part of the rich. I know I'm gonna get on that ship. I know I'm gonna make it to Mars. It says, for we have made lies our refuge. Meaning what? Christianity. That is a lie that we have made, that our people have made their refuge, that they hiding under the falsehood. Right. Saying Christ is a white man, when the Bible clearly states him as being a black man. Right. Okay. Celebrating these wicked holidays out here, Christmas and New Year's and Mother's Day, Father's Day, Dog Day, whatever day that they make up out here. All right, let's go back.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 6. Those of the Jews that be called Assyrians, whose captain is Judas Maccabeus, nourish war and are seditious, and will not let the realm be in peace. Verse 7. Therefore, I, being deprived of my ancestors...
Stop. Therefore, I, being deprived of my ancestors. This Bible is about ancestry. This Bible is about ancestry, man. This is not, you cannot become a spiritual Israelite. You cannot become, spiritual Israelite and so forth and so on. You can't be a spiritual Chinese, man. You can't be spiritual white. Right. No, this book is lineage. This book is about our lineage. This is our history, man. This is about our ancestry, our forefathers. Right. All right, our bloodline. Read it again.
Therefore, I, being deprived of my ancestry's honor, I mean the high priesthood, am now come hither.
Right, because he's of the lineage of the priest. He's of that lineage from Aaron. All right, go ahead.
First, verily, for the unfeigned care I have of things pertaining to the king, and secondly, even for that I intend the good of my own countrymen, for all our nation is in no small misery through the unadvised dealing of them aforesaid.
Damn, you got a bad Bible again?
Nah.
Go ahead, read on.
Verse 9. Wherefore, O king, seeing thou knowest all these things, be careful for the country and our nation, which is pressed on every side, according to the clemency that thou readily showest unto all.
A scripture just popped in my head. That's another scripture in Isaiah. Shake the hand. Shake the hand that they may go to the nobles. Where's that at? Shake the hand they may go to the nobles. This is I think it's 52. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to find it.
1 second, Israel. Shake the hand that he may go to the nobles. Uh, 13. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, and verse 1. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain.
The banner is his Bible. That is the banner that we are to lift up upon the mountain, meaning the government. Go ahead.
Exhort the voice unto them.
So we are to go out and exalt the voice unto them.
Shake the hand.
And shake our hand at them. You better get yourself right. Go ahead.
That they may go into the gates of the nobles.
You see that? That they may go into the gates of the nobles. That's your alchemist right there. That's what he doing. He went to the, we shook the hand at him. He went to the gates of the nobles. That's why he's with the king, selling out his own people. And you got those of our people that's gonna do it today. It's gonna happen again today. It's already happening. All right. Read it again. Verse 2.
Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
So that's what alchemist is doing, is an example of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 2. All right. And you will have our people that's going to go to the gates of the nobles to sell us out. All right. Let's go back.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 10. For as long as Judas liveth, it is not possible that the state should be quiet. Verse 11. This was no sooner spoken of him, but other of the king's friends, being maliciously set against Judas, did more incense Demetrius.
So it says, this was no sooner spoken of him, but others of the king's friends, being maliciously set against Judas, did more incense Demetrius. So even though he's there selling out Judas, you got those of the king's friends, they already hate him. So they with it. They like, yo, he's right. All right, go ahead.
And forthwith, calling Nicanor, who had been Nicanor, who had been master of the elephants, and making him governor over Judea, he sent him forth.
So now we enter in when Nicanor steps on the scene. All of this happened because why? A wicked nigga.
Right.
This is why all of this went down. Go ahead.
Commanding him to slay Judas, and to scatter them that were with him, and to make alchemists high priests of the great temple.
Well, there you go. That was that. Go jump back to verse 4.
Verse 4. Came to King Demetrius in the 150th year, presenting unto him a crown of gold and a palm, and also of the bows which were used solemnly in the temple, and so that day held his peace. Howbeit, having gotten opportunity to further his foolish enterprise.
What foolish enterprise? Jump back over to 13.
Verse 13. Commanding him to slay Judas, and to scatter them that were with him, and to make alchemists high priests of the great temple.
That was the foolish enterprise. He wanted to be high priest of the temple, so he did it underhandedly. Where he's going to sell out his own people in order to make this thing happen.
Right.
Okay, so this is the foolish enterprise that he was doing. That's why it says in verse 7, therefore I, being deprived of my ancestors, honor, I mean the high priesthood, am now come hither. That's what he wanted. He wanted the priesthood. That's the foolish enterprise that he wanted to do. Because why? What did you have to do in order to get the priesthood? It was a lineage thing, okay? So you had to be of the line of Aaron in order to get the priesthood. Which he was of the line of Aaron, but he wasn't of honor to have it. So what he did, he was gonna go underhandedly to go get it.
Right.
So that's what he was doing. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Then the heathen that had fled out of Judea from Judas came to Nicanor by flocks, thinking the harm and calamities of the Jews to be their welfare.
So now he's gathering an army. Okay, go ahead.
Now when the Jews heard of Nicanor coming, and that the heathen were up against them, that they cast earth upon their heads, and make supplications to him that had established his people forever, and who always helpeth portion with manifestation of his presence.
Right, because the Most High was always there with us through all our battles. Okay, he was always with us. Go ahead.
So at the commandment of the captain, they removed straightways from thence, and came near unto them at the town of
the
Sayu. Now Simon, Judas' brother, had joined battle with Nicanor, but was somewhat discomfort through the sudden silence of his enemies. Nevertheless, Nicanor, hearing of the manliness of them that were with Judas.
Damn. So he heard of the manliness of them that were with Judas. These was warriors, man. These wasn't no men that was scared to go to war or anything like that to fight for their people. No, these was men of war right here. The manliness. These were hardy men. Go ahead.
That them that were with Judas in the courageousness that they had to fight for their country, durst not try the matter by the sword.
Right. Go ahead.
Wherefore he sent Poseidonus and Theodotus and Mattathias to make peace. So when they had taken long advisement thereupon, and the captain had made the multitude acquainted therewith, it appeared that they were all of one mind. They consented to the covenants, and appointed a day to meet and together by themselves. And when the day came, and stools were set for either of them, Judas placed armed men ready in
convenient places. So Judas is setting up order amongst the men. All right, he's already strategizing of how he's about to go out and battle. Go ahead.
Lest some treachery should be suddenly practiced by the enemies, so they made a peaceable conference. Now,
right. So there was a meeting going on. So Judas, wise in battle and so forth, what he did, he placed men around, in certain spots of where they was at, just in case something popped off. So he was ready, just in case something popped off. He had men already set up to, do what they had to do. Read that again.
Verse 22. Judas placed
start at verse 21.
Verse 21. And appointed a day to meet and together by themselves. And when that day came, and stools were set for either of them, Judas placed armed men ready in a convenient place.
So they were in convenient places. So they was like snipers, man. You probably couldn't even see them. You know what I mean? They probably up on the mountains and so forth. They chilling. They just waiting on. They armed men. They waiting. Got their bow and arrow, whatever swords. They in convenient places, out of sight, waiting for something to pop off. Go ahead.
Lest some treachery should be suddenly practiced by the enemies.
You see that? Lest some treachery should be practiced by the enemy. So any move they made, the men was ready. Go ahead.
So they made a peaceable conference. Now Nicanor abode in Jerusalem, and did no hurt, but sent away the people that came flocking unto him. And he would not willingly have Judas out of his sight, for he loved the man from his heart.
Right. So at this point in time, it's like Judas won over Nicanor. Go ahead.
He prayed him also to take a wife and to beget children. So he married, was quiet, and took part of this life. But Alchemists perceiving the love that was betwixt them, and considering the covenants that were made, came to Demetrius.
Wait, verse 25. Read verse 25 again.
He prayed him also to take a wife.
See, the enemy know what they doing. He prayed him to take a wife. Like, yo, won't you get married, man? Won't you settle down? You know, stop all this fighting. That was the whole point of that. Won't you just, chill out? Get married. You getting older now. Okay, so that's to do what? To slow him down. Go ahead.
And to beget children. So he married, was quiet, and took part of this life.
So Nicanor was able to quiet Judas at this point in time. Like, yo, won't you get married? Won't you get married, have some children? Get yourself together. Settle down. Stop. You've been at war a lot, man. Okay, go ahead.
But Alchemist, perceiving the love that was betwixt them, and considering the covenants that were made, came to Demetrius, and told him that Nicanor was not well affected toward the state, for that he had ordained Judas a traitor to his realm.
You see this Negro man? Yo, he won't stop. Go ahead.
To be the king's successor. Then
so now he hating again.
Right.
Go ahead.
Then the king, being in a rage and provoked with the accusation of the most wicked man, wrote to Nicanor, signifying that he was much displeased with the covenants, and commanding him that he should send Maccabeus prisoner in all haste unto Antioch. Verse 28.
So now things is changing now. Now Alchemist, he with his hatred for his people and him selling out his own people, he goes back to the king and lets the king know, listen, there's some type of covenant and so forth going on with between Judas and Nicanor. You need to do something about that. That could be dangerous as far as you being the king. So now the king is enraged now. He's like, yo, I didn't send him for that. So now things is about to change. Make a turning point now. Go ahead.
Verse 28. When this came to Nicanor's hearing, he was much confounded in himself, and took it grievously that he should make void the articles which were agreed upon, that man being in no fault. But because there was no dealing against the king, he watched his time to accomplish this thing by policy.
Right, go ahead.
Notwithstanding, when Maccabeus saw that Nicanor began to be churlish unto him.
Churlish mean now he's acting different. He's not the same person that he was before, how he was dealing with each other. Because remember, when you read back in verse 24, read verse 24 again.
Verse 24. And he would not willingly have Judas out of his sight, for he loved the man from his heart.
See that? So the Most High put Judas in favor with Nicanor, to the point he loved him from his heart. Now we go back to, because of this Negro, now we go back to verse 30.
Notwithstanding, when Maccabeus saw that Nicanor began to be churlish unto him.
Wait, that's not ordinary. Let's look it up. Let's look up the word churlish. Let me see. Let's look up the word churlish. One second, Israel. Put up the word churlish. This might take all day. I should have had it up already. It might not take long to see. One second. Dang, my face is greasy. All right, 1 second, Israel. About to look up the word, the meaning for churlish. All right. 1 second. Oh man, that. The other one, the other one will pop up. 1 second, Israel. Trying to work this OBS. All right, churlish. Read that again.
Verse 30. Notwithstanding, when Maccabeus saw that Nicanor began to be churlish unto him.
So he began to be churlish now. Meaning he changed now. The word churlish, the meaning of churlish is rude in a mean-spirited and surely way. Let's look up some of the synonyms here. Says rude, ill-mannered, discourteous, impolite, ungracious, unmannerly, uncivil, ungentlemanly. Okay, ill-bred, boorish, oafish, loutish, mean-spirited, ill-tempered, unkind, inconsiderate, uncharitable, ill-humored, surely, sullen, ignorant. So read it again.
Notwithstanding, when Maccabeus saw that Nicanor began to be churlish unto him.
When he began to be rude and mean-spirited now. He's like, damn, what the hell going on? I thought we was, I thought we had some type of friendship going on. Right? Go ahead.
And that he entreated him more roughly than he was wont. Perceiving that such sore behavior came not of good, he gathered together not a few of his men, and withdrew himself from Nicanor.
Right. So now Judas like, oh, all right, I'm peeping what's going on. I ain't gonna even mess with him like that. So he withdrew himself. Okay. Read again. Verse 31.
Verse 31. But the other, knowing that he was notably prevented by Judas' policy, came into the great and holy temple.
No, I'm sorry. Read verse 30. The end of verse 30. Perceiving
that such sore behavior came not of good, he gathered together not a few of his men and withdrew himself from Nicanor.
So Judas was always ready, man. Regardless of the situation, he was always ready. So he understood, look, this is an enemy. I need to just get my men ready, and he just withdrew himself from them altogether. Okay, because why? Now he know, like, yo, he changed his spirit changed on him. All right, it's time to get ready for battle, because can't trust your enemies. You cannot trust your enemy. All right, go ahead.
But the other, knowing that he was notably prevented by Judas' policies, came into the great and holy temple, and commanded the priests that were offering their usual sacrifice to deliver him the man. And when they swear that they could not tell where the man was whom he sought, he stretched out his right hand toward the temple, and made an oath in this manner.
Hey, so this is where Nicanor went wrong. This is the turning point of his life. All right. Read that again.
Verse 33. He stretched out his right hand toward the temple and made an oath in this manner: if ye will not deliver me Judas, a prisoner,
As a prisoner.
I will lay this temple of God even with the ground, and I will break down the altar and erect a notable temple unto Bacchus.
So he's talking tough right now.
Right.
Nicanor is talking tough right now. He done came to our temple. He done pointed his finger at our temple and talking all types of crap. He stretched out his right hand toward the temple and made an oath in this manner: if you would not deliver me Judas as a prisoner, I will lay this temple of God even with the ground, and I will break down the altar and erect a notable temple unto Bacchus. Okay. Go ahead.
After these words he departed. Then the priests lifted up their hands toward heaven and besought him that was ever a defender of the nation,
Of their nation.
saying in this manner: Thou, O Lord of all things, who has need of nothing, wast pleased that the was pleased that the temple of thine habitation should be among us. Therefore now, O holy Lord of all holiness, keep this house ever undefiled, which lately was cleansed, and stop every unrighteous mouth.
Right. Like he said which lately was cleansed. Because why? The feast of dedication. That's why he's saying which lately was cleansed. Go ahead.
Now was there accused unto Nicanor and Rhasis,
One Rassus.
one of the elders of Jerusalem, a lover of his countrymen.
So this was a elder. Okay. A lover of his country. A lover of his countrymen. Go ahead.
And a man of very good report.
And he had very good report. He had a good name, a good reputation amongst Israel. Go ahead.
Who for his kindness was called a father of the Jews.
He was called a father of the Jews. Everyone looked up to him as a father. Just like our leadership today, we are to look up to them as fathers. All right. This is the way we looked up to this man right here, this brother, as a father unto all Israel. Go ahead.
For in the former times, when they mingled not themselves with the Gentiles, he had been accused of Judaism, and did boldly jeopard his body and life with all vehemency for the religion of the Jews.
You see that? The religion of the Jews was Judaism. Okay, the religion of the Jews. Get First Maccabees 2:21. What is the religion of the Jews?
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2,
which was also called Judaism,
and verse 21.
Read.
God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance. We will not hearken to the king's words, to go from our religion either on the right hand or the left.
You see that? So God forbid that we should forsake the law, and the ordinances. We would not hearken to the king's word to go from our religion. What is our religion? The laws and the ordinances. Okay, that's our religion. Let's go back.
Verse 30. Yeah, verse 38. For in the former times, when they mingled not themselves with the Gentiles, he had been accused of Judaism, and did boldly jeopard his body and life with all vehemency for the religion of the Jews.
Read.
So Nicanor, willingly to declare the hate that he bare unto the Jews, sent above 500 men of war to take him, for he thought by taking him to do the Jews much hurt.
Right. So he thought, look, if we take, because why? He was a father to the whole nation. We consider him a father. So if he take him, Nicanor already looked at it as if, look, we gonna do them all much hurt if we take him. Right? Go ahead.
Now when the multitude would have taken the tower and violently broken it into the outer door, and bade that fire should be brought to burn it, and being ready to be taken on every side, fell upon his sword.
So read that again.
Verse 41. Now when the multitude would have taken the tower, and violently broken into the outer door, and bade that fire should be brought to burn it, he being ready to be taken on every side, fell upon his sword.
So, Razis, remember he's going. Nicanor was going to send 500 men of war to take him. So now it says, now when the multitude would have taken the tower and violently broken into the outer door, and bade that fire should be brought to burn it, he being ready to be taken on every side, fell upon his sword. So Razis fell upon his sword. Go ahead.
Choosing rather to die manfully than to come into the hands of the wicked, to be abused otherwise than beseemed his noble birth.
Right. So he pretty much committed suicide. Right. So he fell upon the sword. So why? Because he looked at it as what? I'd rather die manfully than to be taken by these heathens. It says choosing rather to die manfully than to come into the hands of the wicked, to be abused otherwise than beseemed his noble birth. All right, go ahead.
But missing his stroke through haste.
But as he tried to take his life, he missed a stroke. He missed a vital organ. Go ahead.
The multitude also rushing within the doors, he ran boldly up to the wall.
So you got to picture this. This man done fell upon he done fell upon the sword. This brother done fell upon the sword. He missed a stroke that could have take him straight out. So now he just bleeding all over the place with the sword still in him,
right,
or whatever. He missed that vital organ that he needed to kill him, to take his life. Okay, read on.
The multitude also rushing within the doors.
So now you still got the multitude coming in after him to take him. Go ahead.
He ran boldly up to the wall.
Yo, listen, this dude, he's still running. He's running boldly. Okay, he done stabbed himself or whatever. He's running boldly. Go ahead.
And cast himself down manfully among the thickets of them.
And just threw him, and so now he just threw himself over, off the temple. I mean, threw himself off the wall, and fell down amongst all the thickest. That was a bunch of them in one spot. He threw himself in that area. Go ahead.
But they quickly giving back, and a space being made.
So as he's falling, everybody moving back, like, oh snap, look, and everybody's moved back. Go ahead.
He fell down into the midst of the void place.
So he just hit the pavement, just like that. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, while there was yet breath within him,
he's still breathing. He ain't died yet.
Right.
Remember, you got to think about it. He just tried to take his life with the sword. He fell upon the sword, tried to take his life. He missed a vital organ. He bleeding all over the place. The multitude is still rushing in to take him. So he's like trying to hobble. You know, he's manfully trying to hobble up. So now he throws himself off the wall. Okay, into the thickest of them, where it was more people at. As he's falling, they move back. He hits the pavement. Right. So think about it, how hard he hit the pavement. And he's still breathing. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, while there was yet breath within him, being inflamed with anger, he rose up.
Damn, he still got up. Look, Razis is mangled right now. But through all his manliness and his courage, read.
And though his blood gushed out like sprouts of water.
You see that? The blood is still gushing out all around him. Go ahead.
And his wounds were grievous, yet he ran through the midst of the throng, and standing upon a steep rock. When as his blood was now quite gone.
So he pretty much losing a lot of blood right now. Losing a lot of blood. Go ahead.
He plucked out his bowels.
Oh man. So he's still at it. This is how bad we did not want to fall into the hands of the other nations, of the heathens, man. Right. We were willing to take our own life. And even this was happening not just at this time period, but this happened even when we was coming over here as slaves when you hear about the Middle Passage, when we was coming on the slave ships, A lot of us took our own life then because we didn't want to fall in the hands of these heathens. Because we didn't want to fall in the hands of the white man. So what we was doing? Jumping off the ship, taking our own lives. We was doing the same thing. Doing the same exact thing. So that was nothing new. Okay, we did not want to fall into the hands of the heathens. This is scripture. I'm sorry, scriptures popped in my head real quick. But King David. 1 second. King David. Hold on. 1 second, Israel. 1 second. Remember when King David numbered the people? Right. And he wasn't supposed to, you know where that's at? Oh, 1 Chronicles 21.
Yep.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. 1 Chronicles.
Hold on. Nah, give me 1 Chronicles 21, start at verse 8. Cause remember, like Raz is like our people, we did not want to fall into the hands of the enemy. Okay, that was the thing. We did not want to fall into the hands of the enemy, right? Go ahead.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 21 and verse 8.
So I'm showing you that King David said the same thing. Go ahead.
And David said unto God, I have sinned greatly because I have done these things.
So just to bring it to speed, King David numbered the people. He wasn't supposed to do that. It was a sin. All right. So now the prophet Gad has come to him, let him know, look, you sin. This is now the Most High is giving King David an ultimatum. Well, it ain't no ultimatum, but this is what's going to happen. Go ahead.
But now I beseech thee, do away thy iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. And the Lord spake unto Gad, David's seer, saying, Go and tell David, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee.
So the Most High said, look, I offer you 3 things. Choose out of those 3, what you want to be done for this sin. All right. Go ahead.
So Gad came to David and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, choose thee either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes.
Meaning enemies. Foes mean enemies. Go ahead.
While that the sword of thy enemies overtake thee, or else 3 days the sword of the Lord, even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of the Lord destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now therefore advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me.
Now, how you supposed to choose out of those?
Yo,
there's nothing good.
Right.
There's nothing good. So now he got to sit there and be like, you got to really think like, damn. Regardless, somebody dying.
Right.
Out of all of these 3 things that he had to choose for the sin, somebody's dying. Okay, so Most High made it hard. It was nothing good. Like, look, I need you to choose 3 of what you want. Take one. Go ahead.
And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait.
Meaning I'm closed in. Like, what am I supposed to do? Right?
Let me fall now into the hand of the Lord, for very great are his mercies, but let me not fall into the hand of a man.
You see that? That's what I wanted. Even King David said, but let me not fall into the hand of man. Meaning what? His enemies. We knew we did not want to fall into the hands of our enemies. All right? Because the Most High said what? Either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before our foes. Meaning what? 3 months to be destroyed before our enemies. We the top nation. Now we about to go get destroyed before our enemies? Nah, we ain't having that. Nah, scratch that off the list. We're not getting destroyed by enemies. We're not going to fall into the hand of the heathen. Right? Then he said, or else 3 days the sword of the Lord, even the pestilence in the land, and the angel of the Lord, destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now therefore advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. Go ahead, read on.
And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let me fall now to the hand of the Lord. For very great are his mercies, but let me not fall into the hand of man.
So scratch that off the list. We ain't doing that. Go ahead. We not fall into the hand of our enemies.
So the Lord sent pestilence upon Israel, and there fell of Israel 70,000 men.
Stop. So that's what King David ended up choosing. But he knew, look, out of all those three, scratch off fall into the hands of our enemy. I ain't about that. We gods on the earth right now. And now I'm about to fall into the hand of the enemy so we can start losing and the enemy, the heathen start looking down upon us. All right. So Razes had that same spirit. That's why he chose to die manfully than to fall into the hands of the enemy, the wicked. All right. Let's go back.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 14, and verse 46. When as his blood was now quite gone, he plucked out his bowels, and taking them in both his hands, he cast them upon the throne, and calling upon the Lord
the throne,
and calling upon the Lord of life and spirit to restore him those again, and thus died.
Dang. That was a long death.
Right.
Very long death. You know, but this is what our people was doing, man. All right, so they would not fall into the hands of the wicked. He went great lengths not to fall into the hands of the wicked. All right. Says when as his blood was now quite gone, he plucked out his bowels. So he still took the sword, and cause who don't the
Samurai.
yeah, the samurai, Japanese, they do something like that. I forgot what it's called. Don't quote me on it, but they do something like that where it's like it's a ritual that they do where they actually pluck out they take the sword, pluck out their bowels. This is what Razes did. Okay, that's what he did. All right, just to give you an idea of what he did. Okay, chapter 15. All right.
Chapter 15 and verse 1. But Nicanor, hearing that Judas...
We might jump around chapter 15, but go ahead.
But Nicanor, hearing that Judas and his company were in the strong places about Samaria, resolved without the danger to set upon them on the Sabbath day. Nevertheless, the Jews that were compelled to go with him said, O destroy not so cruelly and barbarously, but give honor to that day, which he that seeth all things hath honored.
Wait. Read it from the top again. This is crazy. Read it from the top again.
Verse 2?
No, verse 1.
Verse 1. But Nicanor, hearing that Judas and his company were in the strong places about Samaria, resolved without any danger to set upon them on the Sabbath day.
So Nicanor he knows that we rest on the Sabbath.
Right.
So his whole plan is, look, I'm gonna fall upon them on the Sabbath day. Why? Because I know they resting. That's the day they rest. This is gonna be the perfect day to join battle, to fall upon them. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the Jews that were compelled to go with him said, O destroy not so cruelly and barbarously, but give honor to that day.
So you had those of us that was in the army of the Greeks. You had those of our people that was in the army of the Greeks, just like you got those of our people today that's in the army of America.
Right.
Okay, we was in the army of the Greeks. It says, nevertheless, the Jews that were compelled to go with him said, "Oh, destroy not so cruelly and barbarously, but give honor to that day." So they was like, "Yo, this is Sabbath. They want give honor to that day. That's the day that we rest." Right? Go ahead.
Which he that seeth all things hath honored with holiness above other days.
So you had those that was in Nicanor's company that still respected the Sabbath day. You understand? Like, look, no, that's the day that we rest. We rest on that day. Give honor to that day because the Lord made that day. Read.
Then the most ungracious wretch demanded.
That's a nigga. I'm sorry. when the most ungracious wretch demanded, read,
if there were a mighty one in heaven that had commanded the Sabbath day to be kept, and when they said, there is in heaven a living Lord and mighty who commanded the seventh day to be kept, then said the other, and I also am mighty upon earth.
Oh, so he mocking them. He mocking the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So they going back and forth. He like, nah, there is a Lord that made the Sabbath day. What are you talking about? He's like, nah, if it is one, it's gonna be me. And I'm mighty. If it's a Lord in the heavens that made the Sabbath, I'm mighty upon this earth. Read that again, man.
Verse 5.
Read 3.
Verse 3. Then the most ungracious wretch demanded, if there were a mighty one in heaven that had commanded the Sabbath day to be kept.
So first off, he didn't believe in the Lord. He didn't believe there was a God. You already see he did not believe there was a God. That's why he said if there was a mighty one in heaven. Go ahead.
And when they said, there is in heaven a living Lord.
So now we like, yo, there is in heaven a living Lord. Go ahead.
And mighty.
Who
commanded the seventh day to be kept.
Right. Go ahead.
Then said the other, and I also am mighty upon earth.
So he's like, man, if there, he said, look, forget him. I'm mighty upon this earth. Go ahead. That sound like a Negro. Go ahead.
And I command to take arms and to do the king's business.
You see that? And I command to do arms and do the king's business. Go ahead.
Yet he obtained not to have his wicked will done.
Read.
So Nicanor, in exceeding pride and haughtiness, determined to set up a public monument of his victory over Judas and them that were with him. But Maccabeus had ever sure confidence that the Lord would help him.
Right. So we always had confidence the Most High would help us, would protect us from the enemy. We always had that confidence. Go ahead.
Wherefore he exhorted his people not to fear the coming of the heathen against them, but to remember the help which in former times they had received from heaven, and now to expect the victory and aid which should come unto them from the Almighty.
Right. So now he's going to show a little history. He's going to go through some history of how the Most High always came to our help, our aid. All right, go ahead.
And so comforting them out of the law and the prophets.
So he comforted us out of the scriptures. He comforted us out of the scriptures. Give me that Romans 15 and 4. He comforted us out of the scriptures. Romans 15 and 4.
The book of Romans, chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
Give me 1 Maccabees 12 and 9. So our comfort is found in the scriptures. Our comfort, I'll say it again, is found here in the scriptures. Whatever's written before time is written for our learning. Okay? They're written as for examples for our learning. 1 Maccabees 12 and 9.
Therefore, we also, albeit we need none of these things, for that we have the holy books of Scripture in our hands to comfort us.
You see that? We always had the scriptures to comfort us. That's how Judas rolled. He always had the Bible with him. Because this was tough times at this point. The Greek, when the Greek captivity, that was very tough times when Esau came into power. So what was comfort us during that time? The scriptures. All right, like so today, these are tough times. This is Jacob's trouble. So now we need the scriptures to comfort us. All right, go back.
Second Maccabees chapter 15,
verse 9.
Verse 9. And so comforting them out of the law and the prophets, and withal putting them in the mind of the battles that they won afore.
Meaning before, that we won before, right? Go ahead.
He made them more cheerful. And when he had stirred up their minds, he gave them their charge, showing them therewithal the falsehood of the heathen and in the breach of oaths. Thus he armed every one of them, not so much with defense of shields and spears, as with comfortable and good words.
So this is a leader, man. This is the definition of a leader. Okay, he exhorted the men for battle. Okay, he comforted them with the scriptures, let them know, like, look, the Most High always had us. We always won battles and so forth. This is what a leader does. Go ahead.
And besides that, he told them a dream worthy to be believed, as if it had been so indeed, which did not a little rejoice them. And this was his vision, that Onias, who had been high priest, a virtuous and a good man, revered in conversation, reverend in conversation, gentle in condition, well spoken also, and exercised from a child in all points of virtue, holding up his hand, prayed for the whole body of the Jews. This done, in like manner, there appeared a man with gray hairs.
So he's telling them a vision of a dream he had. Go ahead.
And exceeding glorious, who was of a wonderful and excellent majesty. Then Onias answered, saying, This is a lover of the brethren, who prayeth much for the people, for the holy city, to wit, Jeremiah, the prophet of God.
See that? In the vision, it was Jeremiah. Jeremiah, go ahead.
Whereupon Jeremiah, holding forth his right hand, gave to Judas a sword of gold, and in giving it spake thus, Take this holy sword, a gift from God, with the which thou shalt wound the adversaries. Thus being well comforted by the words of Judas.
You see that? They was well comforted again. All right, by Judas, well comforted. Go ahead.
Which were very good, and able to stir them up to valor.
So now the men ready to go. They done heard it all.
Right.
They're like, yo, let's do this. Go ahead.
And to encourage the hearts of the young men, they determined not to pitch camp, but courageously to set upon them, and manfully to try the matter by conflict, because the city and the sanctuary and the temple were in danger.
Right. Go ahead.
For the care that they took for their wives and their children, their brethren and kinfolks, was in least account with them. But the greatest and principal fear was for the holy temple.
So we did not want the temple to be destroyed. Go ahead.
Also, they that were in the city took the least care.
Not the least.
Took not the least care, being troubled for the conflict abroad. And now, when as all looked what should be the trial, and the enemies were already come near, that the army was set in array, and the beast conveniently placed.
The beasts were the elephants. Go ahead.
And the horsemen set in wings. Maccabeus, seeing the coming of the multitude, and the diverse preparations of armor, and the fierceness of the beast, stretched out his hands toward heaven, and called upon the Lord that worketh wonders, knowing that that victory cometh not by arms, but even as it seemeth good to him, he giveth it to such as are worthy. Therefore, in his prayer, he said after this manner.
So Judas is now sending up prayers now before the battle brings forth. Go ahead.
O Lord, thou didst send thine angel in the time of Ezekiel.
No, Hezekiah. That's Ezekiel, which is Hezekiah. Go ahead.
King of Judea, and didst slay in the host of Sennacherib 184,500.
So yes, right. That's during the time of Hezekiah, when the host from Sennacherib, Sennacherib, the king of Assyria. All right, he came. That's when he brought his host, and the angel of the Lord, Most High, sent his angel, and the angel killed 185,000 of them. Go ahead.
Wherefore now also, O Lord of heaven, send a good angel before us for a fear and dread unto them.
So now Judas is praying, look, do the same thing for us, just like you did for Hezekiah. Go ahead.
And through thy might of thy
Through the might,
and through the might of thy arm, let thou be stricken.
let those be stricken.
Let those be stricken with terror that come against the holy people to blaspheme. And he ended thus.
Right, so he ended the prayer. Go ahead.
Then Nicanor and they that were with him came forward with trumpets and songs. But Judas and his company encountered the enemies with invocation
and prayer. So on the one side, the enemy is playing trumpets and songs. They got a band going. But us on our side, Judas sent up prayer. So we had invocation. We had invocation and prayers. All right, go ahead.
So that fighting with their hands and praying unto God with their hearts, they slew no less than 35,000 men.
Dang.
For through the appearance of God they were greatly cheered.
You see that? So the Most High showed up, sent his angel again. Through the appearance of God, they were greatly cheered. Go ahead.
Now when the battle was done, returning again with joy, they knew that Nicanor lay dead in his hardness.
So Nicanor, he died. We killed him. Go ahead.
Then they made a great shout and a noise, praising the Almighty in their own language. And Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the citizens, both in body and mind, and who continued his love toward his countrymen all his life, commanded to strike off Nicanor's head, in his hand with his shoulders, and bring them to Jerusalem.
Right. Go ahead.
So when he was there, and he called them of his nation together, and set the priests before the altar, he sent for them that were of the tower, and showed them vow Nicanor's head, and the hand of the blasphemer, which with proud brags he had stretched out against the holy temple of the Almighty.
Y'all remember that? He said, "Look, I'm if y'all don't give me Judas, I'm gonna level this temple." All right. So we remember that. That was a memorial right there. Go ahead.
And when he had cut out the tongue of the ungodly Nicanor, he commanded that they should give it by pieces unto the fowls.
Damn. So we fed him to the birds. Go ahead.
And hang up the reward of his madness before the temple. So every man praised toward the heaven the glorious Lord, saying, Blessed be he that hath kept his own place undefiled.
Right. Most High protected the temple, protected the sanctuary. He came and he helped us. Go ahead.
He hanged also Nicanor's head upon the tower, an evident and manifest sign unto all of the help of the Lord.
Right. So we took his head and hung it up. Go ahead.
And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let that day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is called Adar. The day before
Mordecai's day, which is Purim. So, like, read that part again. Read 36 again.
And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let.
So this is the ordaining of the destruction of Nicanor. Go ahead.
And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let that day pass without solemnity.
So we like, nah, we can't let this day pass without some type of holy day or something for it, without some type of memorial for it. Go ahead.
But to celebrate,
go ahead.
The 13th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is called Adar, the day before Mordecai's day.
Right, so that's why we have destruction of Nicanor, which is tomorrow, and then you have Purim. The day before Mordecai's day is Purim. All right, so that's why it's the destruction of Nicanor. When you look at your calendar, I know y'all. For those of you that's new, you see destruction of Nicanor, and then you see Purim. This is why. Go ahead.
Thus went it with Nicanor, and from that time forth the Hebrews had the city in their power, and here will I make the end. And if I have done well, and as if fitting the story, it is that which I desired. But if slenderly and meanly, it is that which I could attain unto. For as it is hurtful to drink wine or water alone, and as wine mingled with water is pleasant and delighteth the taste, even so speech finely framed delighteth the ear of them that read the story. And here shall be an end.
So we're going to end it there with this is the destruction of Nicanor. This is why we celebrate the destruction of Nicanor. All right. So what I did was take you through the history of what happened, which led up to the destruction of Nicanor. All right. So destruction of Nicanor is not a Sabbath. It's not a Sabbath. All right. Like I said, you won't find it in the Leviticus 23 as a high holy day. All right, these are high holy days that we were putting together as we was winning battles and so forth and so on. All right, like Feast of Dedication, we dedicated that back to the Lord. All right, so we made that a high holy day. Excuse me. But destruction of Nicanor is only one day. Just like Purim is only I think Purim. What is Purim? 1 day, 2 days?
I think it's 2.
It's 2 days. Purim is 2 days. All right. Okay, but they're not Sabbaths. All right, they're not Sabbaths. All right. So, with that being said, I hope y'all got something out of the class. All right, I'm going to end it there. I know there's a lot of reading. That was a lot of reading. You all right?
I'm good.
You all right? Yeah, he ain't good.
Pray for me. Pray for me.
Yeah, you over here sweating. You got to face the E form, Israel. All right. Yeah. But all praises to the Lord. So we're gonna end it there. All right. Cap should be back probably next Monday. If not, then Lord's will, the Most High allow me, I'll be back. I'm gonna go into something different. Try to jump into the law a little bit. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom.